I didn't take the minutes, and there was a typo I saw last night in the minutes.
That corrected all of them.
Well, maybe I didn't catch one.
Well, he didn't get the ones that are corrected.
Good.
He would've got the ones that you.
Yeah, but Buzz may have found something else.
No, it was just the word, it was just a spelling thing, I thought.
From and for.
I thought it was changed with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, chance and change.
Got that one.
Good to see you.
So good morning, everyone. It is 9:02. I will call the Parks, Tourism, and Economic Development Committee October meeting to order. I can also certify the open meeting law requirements are met. And number 3 on the agenda is roll call of committee members. So I am Beth Killian, supervisor number 7 and chair of the committee.
Buzz Sardi, citizen member.
Michelle Haynes, current board supervisor.
Dan Schreiner.
Jean Galazinski, PTED Committee.
Joe Feltus, District 5 Rep.
Petric.
And then we have some staff members here, if they want to introduce themselves.
Reed Lally, Department of Land Management.
Becky Arneson, Department of Land Management.
Mike Kornman, Director of Land Management.
Rob Grover, Economic Development and Tourism Coordinator.
And we do have one guest.
Doreen Olson, Community.
Thank you. We have an 18-item agenda. We need someone to adopt the agenda. And a second?
Second.
Okay, a motion by Feltus, a second by Schreiner to adopt the agenda. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Then the minutes were mailed out from our August 31st meeting, which was really the September meeting. And Becky, I had emailed her a couple of little minor changes. Buzz said he found one.
Looks like Becky got it, so.
So we need someone to approve the minutes. Second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Feltus, second by Haynes to approve the minutes from our August 31st meeting. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Beth,
Yes.
this is Jean. I need to abstain because I was not at the meeting.
Oh, thank you. One abstention.
You bet.
And not to Jean's fault, it was a miscommunication. Public comments for number 6. So I'll open up the public comments at 9:05. Anyone interested in making a comment, call 715-538-1770. While we're waiting for the public to call, I do have kind of an announcement. County Board Supervisors did get this training notification from Rick Niemeyer. He wants to let everyone know that he has rescheduled the all-staff training regarding open meetings and public records and other related topics. So if you would be interested, you should let him know which date would work for you. October 14th at 9 in the morning, October 19th at 1 in the afternoon, October 27th at 9 in the morning. Each session would be approximately 2 hours long and held in the Trempealeau room. And he would like to please pass this information along to any committee members who are not county board supervisors. So if there's a committee member that did not get the email, or a county board member that, like me, kind of like, I'll look at it later. 2-hour training, October 14th, October 19th, October 27th, and you should let Rick Niemeyer know.
Is that, you have to attend all 3 or?
No, I think it's the same one being repeated. At least that's the way I look at it. Because he said Each session would be approximately 2 hours long. But I will double check and let you know, Buzz, for sure.
No, I'd like to attend, I guess.
What was the start time on the 14th?
The 14th was 9 a.m.
Beth, can you please send me his email
Sure.
for,
I can forward that on. I can forward that to the whole committee.
Second call for any public comments, 715-538-1770. And third and final call for any public comments, 715-538-1770.
I got an idea for a t-shirt for our 50th anniversary.
Yes.
Do it in the park, and then underneath it, it'll say Petric Park.
With maybe the little 50th logo? Or
Sounds,
put the 50th logo on the front?
sketch it out, give it to Reed. Good idea.
I'm not a sketcher.
Well,
Start sketching, Reed.
I'm not a sketcher either, so we'll find somebody.
well,
Good.
I'll close
That was an art.
close the public comments at 9:08. And we have a couple guests here from River Travel Media to talk about the summer campaign and the 2022 Dmo Grant.
Yes, so I'll jump in here before we start. We invited Brent and Amy, firstly, to talk about, as you will recall, we did a summer campaign where we really focused on trying to drive traffic to our Trempealeau County social media site and to our website, and really get the word out about Trempealeau County during those warm summer months, focusing on activities that were outdoor rec related and that could be done safely. So that wrapped up at the very beginning of September. Or very end of August, rather. And Brett and Amy are going to give just a little presentation on some of the analytics of how that went. And then we'll pause when they're done with that, because there's an exciting grant opportunity that I applied for last week, which could possibly bring in some pretty substantial dollars for 2022. To help advertise and market and drive traffic to Trempealeau County. So we'll throw it over, and forgive me, I've got a little frog in my throat today. We'll throw it over to Brent and Amy, who you guys know pretty well by now. We've worked with them quite a few times with River Travel Media.
Well,
Guys,
thank
can you
you,
hear
Rob.
us? Oh, yes, good.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Can you hear me? Awesome. Well, thanks for having us this morning. I want to give you a brief overview of the campaign to date, well, for the summer, for the 2021 Trempealeau County Rolling Out the Welcome Mat. This was a short campaign. It was a smaller campaign, but it still was really nicely successful. We did a sweepstakes program again to build some more emails for the e-news list that allows Trempealeau County to continue to reach out to people who are interested in Trempealeau County and coming to visit. And with this campaign, we brought in 918 additional emails that were collected. And the performance of the e-news was really nice. We had a 34.7% open rate and a 48.3% click-through rate. And I want to give you some comparison to that so you kind of understand how good those numbers are. Constant Contact, which is the email news or email service that is on the web, did a 2021 analytics as far as the different industries and comparisons by industry as to open rates and click-through rates. And this just came out this August. And for the travel and tourism industry, the open rate is 15.68%. And Trempealeau County had that 34.7%. And for the travel and tourism industry, the click-through rate is only 6.26, and Trempealeau County had 48%. So this is incredibly higher than the industry standard. So you guys are definitely reaching your target market. You're reaching people who are interested in Trempealeau and want to learn more about it. So that was really fantastic to see. Great numbers. Through this campaign, we also had a partnership with River Travel Magazine. We did an article through that. This reaches through Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa. It reaches further out. We also have a lot of people from Oregon, California, Texas, but the primary visitors to that site are the tri-state region. And we had about 308 article views, but what was nice about the views on that page is the average time spent on that page was over 4 minutes. So people who were coming to the page were spending time reading, and we had about 172 click-through went from that article to learn more about Trempealeau. Part of that too is we put that article out on Facebook through the River Travel Magazine platforms, and that had a nice reach of about 2,700 people, over 300 engagements on it. We did press releases for Trempealeau County that the marketing campaign was continuing, and this is a nice way to stay top of mind of riders, to remind them that Trempealeau exists. They have all these great outdoor activities going on, and that was well received. There was over 850 opens from writers and people who write for not only newspapers, we're talking magazines, social writers, and about 65 click-throughs on that. So that was good as well. We also did another e-newsletter through River Travel Magazine, not just through Trempealeau County's lists, that has a much wider reach, and again, that tri-state region, and that about 3,400 people opened it and over 2,000 click-throughs on the bicycle trails of Trempealeau County. One of the things that we do with Trempealeau is that since we kind of have an ongoing relationship with the county, we allowed those banner ads that we have on River Travel Magazine to just sit. Whether we're doing a current campaign with Trempealeau or not, we let them run. And this way, Trempealeau gets the access of our highest months on that website, where we have the most visitors, which is traditionally March through May for us. And you had over 250,000 impressions on those banner ads, and that was nice to see as well. That was a great number. And then part of this campaign too was a Facebook page digital ads. But I'm going to let Brent talk a little bit about the Facebook digital ads and about the continued growth of the Facebook through the content that we posted.
Yeah, so my name is Brent Hanifel, River Travel Media. So we kind of continued with the theme of rolling out the welcome mat on Facebook with creative social icons. We posted them on an ongoing basis. Some successes from that. We saw a 704% increase in impressions on the Facebook page. We also saw engaged user growth of around 780% increase. So people actually engaging in the different content that we're putting out, along with, this was weekly content that we usually posted on Tuesdays and Thursdays related to the campaign. So driving people back to the website to make a opt-in choice to either follow the newsletter or follow Facebook. One other thing was we ran Facebook ads, which reached about 45,000 individuals and resulted in 1,178 links back to the website. So driving traffic, sending out consistent messaging with e-news, with social is something that is, we found that Trempealeau County has a great audience that are actively engaged and actively interested in what they're being served, which is great. So we're not putting this out to people that don't want to get the information. So really overall, what we found as a campaign to be really successful, plus, just the length of it and the cost, I think is something that was something that, far succeeded what, you put a lot into it, and you gotta, you made it together worthwhile.
Does anyone have any questions for us about the summer campaign?
Looks like everyone's
So Rob, would you?
happy.
I guess I just have one question, which would be, of all those contacts, is there then any way to assess how many of those people actually showed up in Trempealeau County? I mean, we're getting a lot of hits and stuff, and is this just people cruising their phones, or are they actually coming here to recreate then?
The best way to see how that grows is often through your tax dollar numbers. And we did some campaigns for you last year as well, and as you're well aware, for 2020, Trempealeau County did absolutely fantastic, and everybody was hurt with COVID-19, and everybody had a drop in numbers, but Trempealeau County had the least drop in the state.
Okay.
And I hope that we had a little bit of something to do with that as well, just getting the word out about Trempealeau and reminding people that it exists. You guys are really perfectly situated for this because you have this outdoor recreation that is fantastic. You have a beautiful region and there's space. So with the small towns and the outdoor spaces, people felt safe coming there. So I think that was what really helped Trempealeau to grow or not lose as much in 2020. And I'm really hopeful for the 2021 numbers as well.
And I'll
And to
just,
track that, I mean,
oh, go ahead, Brent, sorry.
I mean, I would suggest surveying, if that's something you need to do above and beyond. Really with a lot of this, unless you have a booking engine directly on your website, it's really just using the data that we could see from our end and kind of making an educated guess. Unless you do some surveying or you actually have a booking engine on your website that can actually correlate how much it costs per customer, just like any other product.
And I was just going to add, the Mississippi River Regional Planning Commission, they recently basically purchased data from, and I believe it's data that the Wisconsin Department of Tourism uses as well, to show, so if someone is navigating to a location in Trempealeau County, or if they're coming into Trempealeau County and their phone is pinging in Trempealeau County, where did they come from? And I think in the long term, maybe there's some work we can do to try to kind of connect some of these things. Are we seeing an increase of travelers from these areas based on some of that data? And, we'll be talking about it later in this meeting as well. We're really just at the very beginning of trying to do a lot more analytical analysis of our tourism efforts in Trempealeau County, whether that's using the county's Google Analytics, which, is a new thing for me, and I think is a pretty new thing for the county as well. Looking at some of our social media statistics, that sort of thing. So, we're really starting just at the very beginning of trying to get that ball rolling of having some more of those hard numbers as well. So the hope is we can get better at, where we direct our efforts and what we're doing, so. Well, now I'll hop in again. So that was our summer campaign that we wrapped up. And then another opportunity. So there is a Destination Marketing Organization Program grant. And there are some copies floating around. It also was emailed to you. But this is a grant that it's funded through ARPA funds, but it's being administered through the Department of Administration. And just to read the little synopsis here, the Destination Marketing Organization Grant Program, administered by the Wisconsin Department of Administration, has about $15 million put into it. And the program provides grants to eligible destination marketing organizations and tourism entities for tourism promotion and tourism development services for geographically based traveler destinations. So long story short, our organization is focused on promoting Trempealeau County as a tourism destination. So we applied for this grant. You were allowed to apply for up to 25% of your 2019 operating budget. So our grant amount that we applied for ended up being $19,693.50. And with that, we have hopefully a robust, again, marketing plan that we would partner with River Travel Media again to really try to drive home through much of the kind of the tourism planning and spring, summer, fall tourism season to, again, push people towards our social media, our website, but ultimately get them into Trempealeau County. And Becky, just remind me, this last campaign, I think was it 2,500? Maybe it was 3,000. That I should have that at the top of my head. But the reason I say the number of what we spent on the summer campaign, and I think showing that we really got a bang for our buck, if we were able to end up getting this grant money, I think we could do some pretty incredible things for driving even more traffic to Trempealeau County. So with that, I'll hand it over to Amy and Brent to kind of just talk about what we're proposing to do if we end up getting this grant. And we should know by sometime in November is what I was told. And then, then we would go from there. So I'll throw it back over to you guys.
Thanks, Rob. Yeah, so this campaign, the proposed spend for it is about, I think it's over 6 times what the 2021 summer campaign was, which was just a 2-month campaign. And this one is looking at a 6-month, March through November, 2022 campaign. And it has a lot going on in it. So a lot of what you're familiar with that's been successful, and then adding some additional items that we think might do really well for Trempealeau County. So it starts out thinking about design collateral, and we do have some collateral already that we utilize for summer for Trempealeau County, but we also want to freshen that up, and we want to get spring and we want to get fall, and creating the digital ads, leaderboard ads, the social media design collateral, getting seasonal Facebook banner ads or banners created. So it's getting all those designs done to get it kicked off. We'll be doing social posts for those 9 months, March through November. We're looking at twice a week, like we did through the summer campaign, and updating those ads, those banners, every quarterly to keep up with the seasons as well. We'll be doing Facebook advertising again this time. We're looking at a 6-month campaign rather than a 9-month campaign for the Facebook advertising. So that's going to be pushed a little bit tighter together so that there's larger spend per month. So we get a little bit more of a push during specific months. And we'll be doing responsive display ads on Google. So this will be different from the summer campaign. And those will run for the entire 9 months. Now, the Google ads, I'm going to let Brent talk a little bit about the Google ads and how they work.
So this is another way that we can collect kind of that data, using people's IP addresses and various things like that through Google display ads. So, when people come to the Trempealeau website, we can retarget them, we can find out where their interests, things of that nature to kind of hopefully take them along the path of the purchase or coming to the area. One thing about this is there's no additional cost for banner ad creation. We can incorporate video, we can incorporate pretty imagery. It's really something that allows us to offer a very visual, simple call to action to drive people back to the Trempealeau County website.
And
again,
with those
and again, to make those choices, to opt into social media, to follow our newsletter, it's just a great tool to kind of build the county's arsenal of contacts of people that are interested in the area.
And with those display ads as well, we test those. So we do A/B testing and determine which ones are performing the best. So that start of the display ad run is more testing, and then it gets heftier and stronger as it continues, and we learn what people are engaging with. So that is a really nice addition for 2022. We'll continue with the email database development, which is creating those sweepstakes and getting people to opt in and give us their email addresses so we can continue to serve those e-newsletters out, letting people know, reminding them about Trempealeau County and all the fun things you have to do with the outdoor recreation, and also talking about COVID and what businesses are doing to keep things safe so that people can come here and feel comfortable. We're doing a digital partnership through River Travel Magazine again. So this time we'll have 3 blog articles that will be written and be posted through rivertravelmagazine.com, through those e-newsletters that go out, as well as the social media posts, plus there'll be banner ads that will be up on site, both Leaderboard and Square. And those banner ads will also go out through the Leisure e-newsletter too. There's about 13,000 people that have opted in for that e-newsletter. So that's a nice, strong component as well. All of these articles, before we're written, will be cleared with Trempealeau County as for what that content will be. We're suggesting that it focuses on outdoor recreation like paddling, biking, fishing, things that people might be looking for to get outside again next summer. The digital partnership will also continue with this year with Lacrosse Local, which is a regional-based arts and travel and dining And it focuses on the La Crosse region, goes into Rochester, Winona, and gives you some daytime drive traffic up into Trempealeau. So that'll also be digital ads. There will be a podcast sponsorship with that, and we'll be interviewing Rob to talk about all the fun things that can be done in Trempealeau County with a podcast through that as well. Public relations, which is getting that information out to media and to riders. This year also, or for 2022, and part of this campaign is looking at some print materials. So on Wisconsin Outdoors, we think is a strong offering to potentially put Trempealeau County ads in. It's available at Quick Trips, so it's accessible. Their advertising cost is pretty accessible as well. It's well picked up. It has that outdoor recreation lean towards it. And we're thinking about an 1/8 of page ad in the May, June, and the July, August editions. And then another new thing is in-stream advertising pre-roll. Now this is video ads on YouTube. And YouTube is the second most popular search engine behind Google. So people get on there quite a bit. It's incredibly popular, and it's an easy way to reach a target audience for a lot of people and to get some video out. And I know Trempealeau makes in-house some great video. And so we're talking about Trempealeau creating a 30-second ad that can be put up and plays prior to a selection that the viewer wishes to watch. So when you see those ads and you have the opportunity to skip, well, if people don't skip, then we're charged for the ad. If they do skip, then we're not. So you actually get like that early 5 seconds or so of impressions to talk to people without any additional cost. So that's a nice way to advertise as well. We're also talking about Wisconsin Public Radio. We're big fans of Wisconsin Public Radio in reaching the leisure market because these are people who tend to have higher income. They tend to be a little bit older, travel more, and it's a great target to reach. So we're talking about doing a campaign through Wisconsin Public Radio as well, radio ads and potentially banner ads on their website that we can do too. Plus, of course, the analytics will continue where you'll have monthly updates as to what's going on with the campaign and where everything's standing. So this is something we're really excited to kind of sink our teeth into, and hopefully Trempealeau County will get this grant and we'll be able to start rolling on this early in the spring. Does anyone have any questions about the DMO grant?
Is there any cost share required on it?
Is there any, what was that?
Cost sharing required? There's a 100% grant?
This is a
Correct.
100% grant, yes.
And I should add, one exciting thing is now that the county is using Google Analytics, Brent and Amy have been given access to our website analytics as well. And basically what that means is in real time, and they can be, we can be altering ads, and we can be altering audiences that are being focused on and that sort of thing, which is something that we didn't have in prior campaigns we've done, so.
Not specific to this grant, but to kind of the tourism issue. Do we have a way to sort back out the sales tax income generated from tourism for Trempealeau County? I thought we had some pretty big numbers there at one time.
We have talked about that. Yeah, I mean, I think we can look at direct visitor spending, for example, and show, that's one of the statistics that the Department of Tourism always has, and when they release the numbers in April during National Tourism Week, and yeah, I think we can show some of those numbers.
Anything else? Thank you, Brent and Amy.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Then Rob's going to talk a little bit about the Trempealeau County Outdoor Recreation Plan and updating.
Sorry. Derek's gonna come save me here. Thanks, Derek. This is the, pull it up here. Okay, so it would be 1 second. Would be, yeah, that one first. I believe. Oh, I don't know if that's the one. So, just to get the ball rolling as we get it up on the screen, as you know, we just finished up, or a little while ago, finished up our outdoor rec plan survey. And we had 290 respondents, which is pretty good. Do we always want more? You bet. But actually, I think getting 290 individuals to, give their thoughts and give us their opinions, I think really helps give us some good information. And from that, we'll go through some of the statistics if we can get it up there. And from that, we'll also discuss then our objectives and priorities that we'll be working into the plan. A lot of that are things that we've been talking about for the last year as we focused on this outdoor rec plan. And some of it, again, is informed by the survey results. So, see if we can, probably not gonna get that up.
It's gonna take a minute. I don't think anybody's opened Word on this computer yet.
Ah, okay. Well, you should all have copies in front of you, so this is what it looks like. Does everyone have one of these?
I didn't get one.
Oh, you don't have one, Beth? Okay. And then for you
Are
at
they on the
home, it
table?
should be in the email. I'll grab you one, Beth. No, that one. Well, we'll just go for now off the.
Results?
Oh, perfect. Yes. Thank you. Share that if possible. Make that bigger. All right, so you should be able to see that on the screens, I hope. So basically, this survey was developed by, we had our subcommittee group that was Buzz and Jeannie Nutter and myself, and we worked with Abby Nicewander from Mississippi River Regional Planning Commission to develop this survey. And then it was shared, it was hosted on their website. And we did a lot of work to promote it. One thing we did is we shot a really nice video here with WTCO that got shared widely. We were really lucky to have a lot of the Rod and Gun Club share it, a lot of the sportsmen's groups share it, a lot of just individuals share it. So I think we'll have some numbers when we're looking at some analytics later specifically on how much that got shared. But we had a lot of traction that way. And then just, I want to thank a lot of you because I know a lot of you particularly pushed it for folks to get out there and do the survey. So I said we had about 290 people. And on the first question, how often do you use county parks or outdoor facilities? So again, we had 34 people say very often. 74 people say sometimes, 6 to 11 times per year. And I should say for very often, it was one or more times per week. Often 1 or 2 times per month. We had 45 people respond that way, and not often out of surveys is 105, and then never was 28. So I think that's interesting because it shows us that a lot of the people that answered this survey are folks that maybe aren't right now utilizing a lot of our outdoor recreational opportunities. So I think that might give us some interesting information on maybe what they're looking for. So. And then what are your top 3 outdoor recreation activities you participate in Trempealeau County? well, by far, you can see here, we have 169 people said walking and hiking. And I think that makes a lot of sense for what we've discussed for a long time, that we want to continue to focus on walking and hiking trails, and you know, whether it's you know, winter activities or in the warmer months. People are, I mean, hiking, walking, they're lifetime activities. So we all do them all the time. And then right after that was fishing, which again lines up with our discussions we've had all year on something we really want to focus on, both on creating new opportunities for folks to be able to fish here in Trempealeau County, but also the larger goals, which the Department of Land Management focuses on, of making sure that we have clean waters and we protect our natural resources. So again, you know, kayaking, canoeing, I believe was next. Wildlife viewing was right next to it, and then hunting, and then biking. So, and then how often do you use county parks or outdoor facilities? So, you know, this question a little bit, you know, I imagine we had some people who maybe took it quite literally and said, okay, how often do I use the county facility of Petric Park or Farm Progress State Park or something like that? I think you might have had some other people that also thought, you know, just general parks within Trempealeau County, maybe not ones we necessarily run. But again, not often, 105 people in total. Sometimes came in second, 6 to 11 times per year was 74. And then pretty close with often, very often, or excuse me, yeah, very often, often, and never, so.
Rob, how was that one different from the first question?
So how often do you use county parks or facilities? How is that from the first one?
It's just a different graph of the
It's just
first
a different
one.
graph, because it has the same numbers.
Oh, you're right. I am sorry. Yeah. You know what? That probably was a printing error. So my apologies on that. We'll make sure that's corrected before it gets into the plan. So then this was the number. So basically, how satisfied are you with the number of outdoor parks facilities available in Trempealeau County? The vast majority were kind of neutral on it, somewhat satisfied or satisfied. So, you know, what does that tell us? Like the people that use the facilities generally feel like we've got a good mix, you know? But of course, there's still quite a few people that, you know, either not satisfied or were somewhat not satisfied, so. Then the quality of outdoor parks and facilities. In the, you know, we had 105 folks that were somewhat satisfied, 57 that were, you know, satisfied, neutral at 84, and then a minority of folks that were somewhat not satisfied or not satisfied. So, and then the maintenance of outdoor parks and facilities available. I mean, again, you know, how do people feel about what shape they're in? And because, you know, quality could be different from like what shape the park is in. Quality could go into things like opportunities at the park and that sort of thing. And again, the largest turnout for that was 93 respondents where they were neutral on it, somewhat satisfied or satisfied, and then again the minority being not satisfied or somewhat not satisfied. So, and then so there were just general comments that people could give. When we actually have the outdoor rec plan, and this is something Abby's taking the lead on that I'm working with her on right now, we'll have a synopsis of all these different comment groups. But you know, one big thing we saw was, you know, accessibility for all people. You know, water quality was in that. So an interesting mix of all sorts of different comments, and you can take a look at those. And then going down, you know, so include your priorities for future county outdoor facility improvements, listed from highest to lowest. And this, from the different options that you had to choose, this is how the breakdown went. So multi-purpose trails, support facilities, mapping. Mapping is incredibly high of importance. And as you know, that's been a real focus of this committee over the last year is getting our outdoor recreation opportunities and our tourism assets online in our interactive map. Public fishing area, canoe kayak launches, and you can kind of just see kind of how, again, how folks that took this survey ranked these things. So, and then finally, the question, it was a very open question. If you could create the ideal outdoor recreation experience in Trempealeau County, what would it be? Dream big. You want your best project ideas. And a lot of it was trail-based. A lot of the folks, want increased biking trails, hiking trails, things of that nature. Oh, Derek, sorry, you're not able to hear me? Oh, great, that moves. So yeah, trails, access to waterways, that sort of thing. So a lot of the stuff that again, we have been focused on, and it'll be worked into the plan. So, yeah, that's the survey. I think we got some really interesting information, and I think it validates a lot of the conversations that we've already been having as a committee, that our subcommittee has had, and what we've been working on with this outdoor recreation plan for the months that we've been working on it. So if there's general questions about this, be more than happy to take them.
I see there's a lot of water. They want water.
Yep.
For swimming and, not just rivers and lakes.
Mm-hmm. So then, if there aren't questions.
Bob's got a question.
Yes.
Rob.
The other thing, it looks like with the public comment
Yep.
in here, people are pushing more toward ATV, UTVs.
Yep.
And I think if we don't get on board with that, we're gonna miss the boat, because Buffalo County opened up their county right now to it. And we're kind of surrounded right now, and I think this committee needs maybe to work on something like that, just try to open up the county with these ATVs and UTVs for use on at least the letter roads in the county. I mean, just from my talking to different people that come into my facility, so you people are sure missing the boat on that with the beauty we have in this county and stuff like that, for them to get on their four-wheeler and just go for a putts through the countryside. And it looks like there must be about 30 of them on this for public comment, just by glancing this over on your rec program.
Yep. Well, Bob, I agree with you, and as you recall, that was a pretty big push that we focused on, last year, trying to open up roads. And from my standpoint, I agree, and I think it's tough. The tough part is, of course, not a lot of public lands where we can develop off-road. But I mean, there's a lot of interest for folks that want to do it, and the numbers show too. It's a growing part of tourism. People
Right.
are looking for areas where they can do it. So, okay. Well, from this, then, what we'll move on to. Hopefully, I can do this without needing Derek's assistance. So everyone should have in front of them, Trempealeau County priorities, objectives, actions for our 2020 through 2026 plan. In this, I should note, as we're putting these objectives together, so the actual wording of it will be a little more refined before it's in the plan. But what we're looking to do is have these broad objectives that have specific goals in mind. So we're ranking some of these objectives, and we're going to have specific goals in mind for things we actually can accomplish. As you know, from the beginning of this process, especially in our work group, we wanted to talk about things in this plan that we actually can accomplish, that we can look at this plan and we can say, these are things we can get done in Trempealeau County. So that's where these come from. They also are based on what our mission is, as our Parks, Tourism, Economic Development Committee. Most importantly, they're based on what will help enhance the outdoor recreation opportunity for the citizens of Trempealeau County. So I should say I put general ranks, and this wasn't exactly easy of high, medium, and low. None of those rankings mean that the activity is not important, but an emphasis was given to activities where, again, we could find funding for it, where it's actually something that there are clear avenues for accomplishing. So we'll kind of go through that. We can change things, but again, to remind you, these are general goals that will have then very specific narratives written into them, written by myself and Amy. So we'll just kind of go through them. And again, we can change things, but so high priority actions, implementation of Petric Park and Trempealeau lots action plan, I should say, and see the Petric Park and Trempealeau lots action plan. So Reed put together a really nice plan for our vision for Petric Park going into the future, and that should be a high priority for us. Work closely with the Trempealeau County Healthcare Center to assist in the rehabilitation of Farm Progress Day Park. I see this as an important goal because, again, that is a very central park in Trempealeau County. I was out there last week taking some pictures for our outdoor rec plan, and it is in need of some tender love and care. But it has, I think, a lot of opportunity being a nice location, central in Trempealeau County, to really draw some people in. They got the nice pond there and some nice facilities. Also, closely examine and inventory Trempealeau County-owned properties and assess if there are outdoor recreation opportunities that could be developed or enhanced on them. So, again, Trempealeau County has a lot of properties. They're not all county lands, right? Some of them we've had discussions about. And I think in talking to the committee and what we've looked at, looking at what does Trempealeau County already own or have where we could develop more outdoor recreation opportunities. And it's doing an inventory of those properties, figuring out who the leadership authorities, not different committees and different entities sometimes have authority over these areas, but where can we develop more outdoor recreation opportunities on those properties? Enhance currently existing and create new multi-purpose trails throughout Trempealeau County with an emphasis on being able to connect segments of trails from different areas of the county and to connect different parks and outdoor recreation opportunities to each other. These include walking, hiking, snowmobile, ATV, biking, and other trails. One big goal that, again, we have discussed and folks want it in Trempealeau County is the ability to get connected to other outdoor recreation opportunities. And I think a very good goal for us would be to see where can we connect existing trails to each other. How do we slowly build segments that can bring people from one part of the county to the other? Again, that is broad, multi-use, different trails, but how do we connect them to each other? Continue to improve Trempealeau County's online and physical mapping of outdoor recreation opportunities and distribute promotional materials for outdoor recreation and tourism. I think we've done an incredible job, especially since COVID and the new website. We've migrated away from a lot of paper maps to a lot of stuff on our interactive map. And I think we really need to focus on making sure that we enhance that where we can, that those things are up to date. I think melding together both using the data with also like interactive videos and that sort of thing. Just making that information even more accessible and easy for people to digest. Yeah, Buzz.
Well, it seems like we're missing Bob's comment here on high priority actions. That's something the committee wants to include here.
The ATV?
The ATV issue, I mean, if you drive around the state, most county roads are open today. I mean, I'm not a fan of it, but the people use them like crazy.
So let me comment on that. I've got it on the list. I had it under medium priority, not because it wasn't a important tourism thing for us to pursue, but because of the challenges of not having a lot of public land. But if we want to move it up into a high priority area, the committee certainly can do that. I'm not against that. I'm just saying, I was focusing on things that we can accomplish a lot on. And, you know, getting trails on or getting off-road trails would be challenging for ATVs. Not that I'm not all for it, you know what I mean? But
Yeah, I
we
don't
can move it
think
to a
that-
high priority area if that's, if.
I can't see that happening, but, I mean, I've just been spending a lot of time driving around the driftless last couple of weeks, and it's kind of interesting. A lot of townships don't have.
Their town roads open, but all county roads are open. Is that other people's percent? Becky, I mean, you're kind of in the business, or Reed?
Well, maybe this committee should, go to the townships and ask to be open.
We tried that.
Most of the bottom part of the county's open to ATVs.
Yeah.
I think, I know Arcadia, Dodge.
Yep.
Trempealeau.
Town of Trempealeau, Caledonia's considering it, Yale's considering it.
Plus, you know, like I said, Buffalo County's open. I mean, you've got almost half the county open right now just for townships.
Michelle's
then-
got a
Well,
question.
I was gonna say that Arcadia has got that on their agenda and they're discussing the ATV situation and trying to handle it and open stuff.
Well, we can move it to a high priority. I'm game for that if that's the committee's consensus.
Becky's got a comment.
I live on the border of Jackson and LaCrosse County, and everything around us, county road-wise, is all on ATV trail pretty much. It won't, Black River itself actually opened up to ATVs. They won't allow them until all the signage is posted. So until signs are actually up and running, they're not officially open, but that is where everything is moving to. So I can go from my house all the way to Mindoro, or I could go to Melrose, I mean, just based on different back county roads, and I can get different places just with my ATV now, and it's very convenient. My kids and I, we love to go on rides now. It's just, it's something that we really should be looking at further in this county because it does really draw people to the area. We've had more people purchase land around us just to have a place to keep their stuff and go for ATV rides. They're camping now in these back areas on these little small areas of land, recreation land, and just going for ATV rides around the county.
And they're the people that are spending money.
Yeah, they're spending lots of money.
Unlike the bicyclists that go to Quick Trip and use the bathroom and fill their water bottles up.
No, they're going to the bars and restaurants, they're going to the grocery stores, everything in those areas, just, yeah, the gas stations, all of it. We see them constantly around at any of the food venues. There are just tons of them. It's crazy. And they're not causing any problems.
No.
They're bringing, I mean, these people are super nice people. They're just looking to just see the scenery.
Yeah. Well, then let's move that to a high priority, if that's the committee's consensus. It's not like we have to formally vote on this, but this is the chance where we can have a kind of a discussion on it. It seems like that is what the committee feels like. Yeah.
You know, I don't know very much about ATVs or UTVs, but up in Barron County, it's rare that I'm up there and I don't see ATVs or people going around, and they have signage all over the place. But of course, they have Chautauqua and Rice Lake up there as well.
I guess I thought originally you're gonna hear that kids are getting smucked all over the place and it's not happening. You just, the training must be good and that's gonna happen occasionally, I mean, but for the most part, for the numbers that are out there, it's not in the news anyhow. I've been kind of watching and,
I'd imagine.
This is Jean.
Hi, Gene.
Just one of the couple of things I've heard is when you buy an ATV, it's one way for the trails and whatever, but some of them don't get the tires don't get changed to that, so to be on the roadway. So I think some people don't understand that some do change, that they can ride the two different tires. So we're going to do this. I think it's great for more information for the county, and perhaps one of our local businesses could, come and explain in regards to tires or whatever, just so if there's community members throughout our county, if they have questions in regards to that they have that opportunity. But, what's being said today is what I've been heard as well is, bringing money into the county and safety, and, that's a good thing. So that would be my suggestion.
Yeah. Well, as you recall, we had a robust work group of the sheriff, Al Ranka, the highway commissioner, and myself that looked at this issue. no one had any objectives to, objections, excuse me, to opening up county roads to ATV traffic. So, you know, we've got a lot of information on it, and it's definitely an issue. If we want to make it a top priority, I think why not? We should go for it. So I'll move it up to that if that's the consensus of the committee.
Sure. Becky?
It can also add, and you can attest to this too, Bob, because we both own automotive shops. Like Gene was saying, small car tires, they actually will work on ATVs. You can get them redone and put onto your ATVs, and you can drive them on roads just like any other vehicle. We do so many at our shop, it's not even funny. So I'm sure you're probably going to start seeing it too. That'll help increase. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, so.
Yeah.
What do you put on?
They're DOT approved. They're not a soft, squishy tire. They're just like a little car tire except low profile, 12-inch. And they're stiff, you know,
They're safer, right?
they're safe. They give them some stability, and also they don't have as an aggressive tread that they're chewing things up. It's a road tire. It's no different than it's a smaller step down of a four-wheel drive pickup tire is what it is. Just an all-season tire.
Well, good. Well, I will put that as high priority just to keep the conversation moving. So, next.
Then, Rod, under each one of these, this is kind of what we want to do. Are we going to do? That's been my sticking point.
Forever.
Yep.
It isn't just what you want to do, you got to have a schedule and how you're going to fund it, and do we have the staff to do it, and all the resource needs to make each one of these happen. Just putting them in there like this, we need bing, bing, bing under each one of these high priority activities, or they'll just sit there.
Well, and that, you know, as I mentioned, what we'll have under each one of these is a narrative of some of the actual objectives, what we think we can accomplish, some actual projects, and then at the end of this plan, you know, we've got a pretty robust glossary of like grant opportunities. What we'll try to do is connect funding opportunities to these objectives.
I think you got to even be more specific right there, so if a county board member picks this up, they can say, we can do this or we can't do this.
Yeah.
Or here's the limitations, and if you aren't specific and assign it to somebody who's gonna make it happen, they just don't happen.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you, and I think one discussion we've had is, you know, once we implement this plan, it's not just sitting on it, actually having a work plan put in place into 2022, into 2023,
Okay.
into 24 and 25, 26. How do we actually start biting off these bits of the apple? I think.
There's
why we're
years of
doing it
work
that-
under high right here, so you gotta kinda pick what we can do with, and where we're at to make this stuff happen. If there's low-hanging fruit, like opening up the county road system and getting a bunch of signage money to make it safe, if that's largely what it is, to make that happen, that seems just like a low coster, and get it done.
Yeah.
Where some of these other ones, like if we gotta develop canoe landings and canoe accesses, you're gonna have to put some funding strategies behind that stuff. Get those mapped out, get them located, and just what Becky always taught us about snowmobile trail development, there's a lot of money involved in some of this stuff.
Well, with the canoe landing and accesses, those do have funding sources. So that is something that could easily be taken care of as long as people apply for the right ones. County Conservation Aids Grant is a funding source for those. We can do county cost share, high impact, low cost type projects. So we do already have 2 different sources out there. We can look into more, but there's still definitely something that is, I think Rob would like to keep on the high priority list, because I mean, kayak and canoeing is very popular in this area.
Well, we got all the clubs, and their ability to raise money blows me away. And, get a strategy where we come down through a river system or go up through it, so we start putting these 5-6 mile hunks together that really make sense, and then make sure they're obviously showcased on our mapping.
Yeah.
Bob, turn on your mic.
Actually, that was another thing that I had, glanced over here. We're trying to promote canoeing and kayaking and that. We don't even have a decent landing in Petric Park. You gotta pull it up a bank. I says, simple as that. And it's easy to get money for those. The Rod and Gun Club Independence built 2 of them, and it was with conservation aid money. One of them, land conservation, developed for us. Actually, two of them did. Kenny Myers, when he worked for land conservation, built or designed two of them for us, and they kind of eyed up the one at the lower landing by Petric Park. Be nothing to doing that one. I mean, you just get in there with the highway department with a loader, scrape it out, put your silo staves in there, and away you go. It's very simple, but I think it's something we should design, so if we're promoting canoeing and kayaking, we at least got a landing on our own county-owned land.
That would be nice.
And I believe that is, Reed, in your plan you put together, touches on upgrading that.
Yep.
So that is in the Petric Park master plan, if you will.
There was just,
Read
a
your
few
mic.
people- I'm sorry. There were just a few people at the park yesterday, actually. They put in at the crossroad, which is, I don't know, 3-4 mile, not even that far by the Crow. And they were gonna take out there, and then I guess they were gonna come and put in there and come out at Arcadia later on, so. It would definitely, it still gets used now, but it'd be nice to have a better landing right there at the park. It's such an easy place to get to, and you can drive right to it, and definitely be a benefit, for sure.
So I think we should kind of keep moving. I agree, but all these things these aren't just a list. These are basically the headings where we've got more information under them for where we see funding opportunities and some examples of what we actually could accomplish.
Yeah, but I think we have to stress how it's gonna get done. The how, to me, is always the critical portion of any plan.
I agree with you, Buzz. Okay, so moving on, excuse my hand there. Protect and enhance the natural landscape, water quality, and rural character of Trempealeau County for both the health of the land, our citizens, and to increase ecological tourism with Trempealeau County. That is a growing aspect, I think, within Trempealeau County. Reed's been focusing very much on bluff prairies, things like that. And of course, that is core mission work of the Department of Land Management. Enhancing the currently existing and creating new opportunities for the public to have access to public fishing opportunities. Again, fishing very high on the list of priorities that we have discussed and in our surveying, and what we just know of Trempealeau County with our many trout streams and our lakes and rivers. So then enhancing currently existing and creating new public canoe and kayak launches and map distances between launches and work to keep waterways open for navigation. A lot of that work the rod and gun clubs do. We need to support that. A lot of the comprehensive plans that our municipalities have that are along waterways talk about identifying public boat launches. Again, I believe that should be a high priority for us to focus on. Enhance our bike trail opportunities both on paved roads and off-road. We have a robust bicycling mapping in Trempealeau County. They're also, I think one big area of this would be signage, and that's a larger discussion to have. Increase the number of campsites within Trempealeau County. Again, that's something Petric is particularly focusing on. But we often see that people are looking for places to camp. And focusing on local and regional partnerships to enhance our outdoor recreation opportunities. Examples are Rod and Guns, Wisconsin Great River Road, neighboring counties. Just looking at, obviously we know Trempealeau County is one county of a region, and focusing particularly, identifying and focusing on where our opportunities for collaboration. We do a lot of that. The Flyaway Trail being a great example of that. So I think that's incredibly important for us. So again, that's what I have as high priorities, and I'll remind you that none of these categories mean they're not important. It just means what maybe is more practical to get done, and we can switch them if the committee feels so. So moving on to medium priority. Again, so I'll just go through. Increase the resiliency of Trempealeau County tourism assets to weather the changes of climate change. That's more of a challenge, right? But we know that's happening within Trempealeau County. So whether that's focusing on our buildings at Petric Park, or issues with flooding, or issues of trails washing away, that sort of thing. Improve handicap accessibility of Trempealeau County's outdoor recreation opportunities. Encouraging the enhancement and maintenance of traditional playgrounds, on our county and municipal parks. Increase outdoor recreation, environmental education for youth. This was something that was in our last outdoor rec plan as a priority. I think we've made some progress on it. You know, with COVID, the one big event we used to always do was the camp at Petric Park. And now forgive me, the name of the camp is fleeting me, but the camp we always would do.
The outdoor?
Outdoor, yeah,
Outdoor.
yeah, that sort of thing, but keeping that still a priority. Okay, so, and this will be moved up to high, but encourage the further development of both on-road, but even more so off-road ATV routes within Trempealeau County. And we'll move that to the high priority area. Encourage and work on the development of public swimming areas within the county. And so this one's a little more abstract, but I'll give you some thoughts in it. So conduct a historic assessment on Trempealeau County to identify areas of historical significance that should both be preserved and that can encourage further knowledge of Trempealeau County's history. You know, that's including architecture. One part of many of our municipalities' comprehensive plans is identifying, again, places of historic cultural significance and highlighting them. We see some examples of that in Trempealeau County, but I think there's some benefit of doing, and Mike and I have talked about this as well, and he brought the idea to me as well. You know, doing an assessment of our historical assets within Trempealeau County, identifying what some of those are, and figuring out ways that we can either protect them or enhance them and have them be tourism draws. And this also includes architecture. You know, I know both anecdotally and talking to folks, there's some areas of Trempealeau County where folks love going to the downtown because it's so well preserved. Other areas that could use some work. You know, one aspect of this would maybe be developing a facade grant program where we could help with the facades of some of these buildings, that sort of thing. So it's a large sort of action item, but I think there's a lot of potential for some impactful things in that.
Are you talking just post-European settlement, or?
No. I think we're talking, you know, for example, down in Trempealeau, there's a relatively new park where you can tour some of the mounds and that sort of thing, and talks about the pre-European cultures. I think it is, we cover what we can. So no, I'm talking anything that we think has cultural historical significance. Then enhance our agricultural tourism options within Trempealeau County by encouraging entrepreneurialism. You know, and we've talked about this a lot, so much of people coming to Trempealeau County enjoying our outdoor recreational activities also is because we've got a great mix of agricultural tourism opportunities. And because my position and this committee focuses not just on tourism, of course, also economic development, I think this is an important area where, you know, we can't as a county literally establish a farm-to-table restaurant, right? But we can work with folks who maybe have an idea like that to try to see how we can make that happen and work within the larger framework of the Department of Land Management, you know, what their zoning is for something like that, conditional use, that sort of thing. So again, it's a medium priority because again, some of these things are tougher to do than others. Low priority actions, increase the number of horse trails and facilities within Trempealeau County. There wasn't a lot of, you know, we do still get calls about the Petric Park horse trail sometime. Reed and I were on the phone with a lady just last week about it. But there just doesn't seem to be the large demand for that. But I don't think it's something we should just say we're not going to focus on. Placing of tourism information in all county waysides. This was something that was part of our old plan as well. I don't think it doesn't have value, but again, as we're focusing more on how people actually consume, you know, information about outdoor recreation opportunities, I think it's a little bit of a low priority. Encourage the placement of more Trempealeau County lands and open hunting land and work with rod and gun clubs and other sporting groups to encourage more people of all ages to consider getting into hunting and fishing. Hunting, a lot of people love to come to Trempealeau County to hunt. That's a very tough goal. We can work with rod and gun clubs to get more young people interested in in hunting and fishing, getting more lands available, which we did see in some of the survey. You know, people would like to see more places for people to hunt. Tough for us to do that as a committee, in my opinion. Encourage the maintenance and quality of our county golf courses. Again, these are private entities, but still a lot of people come to Trempealeau County for those activities. So again, this developed, I'll just say what I said in the beginning, developed over our conversations from the last year, informed some by some of the survey work, and ranked and looked at in a way what is actually accomplishable, so that when we look at this plan, 'cause in the old plan has tons of information, but I'll be frank with you, it didn't really, in the work I've done, I don't think it very often guided me or others in terms of actual things to work on, things to get accomplished. I think with this format, with these actions, with then the narratives under there that give some guidance on how to actually get it accomplished, that can be a lot more effective. So, yeah.
I guess more of a question for Bob. Bob, do we have a county-wide alliance of sportsmen's clubs that would want to take on some of this if they were more formally engaged in some kind of partnership development with the county for implementation of a plan like this?
We do have Trempealeau County Associated Sportsmen's Club, and it's basically every sportsman's club in Trempealeau County belongs to it. I think there's just a couple missing, but they meet once a month on usually like the third Wednesday of the month. And that, you know, there is a lot of land available for hunting and fishing in Trempealeau County. Just in our sportsman's club in Independence, I mean, we've got 800 acres of land that's open for public use, and I know we've got like 30 different trout stream easements, and that's just saying for our own club. And that, but you get up in that Chimney Rock Wildlife Area, there's over 2,000 acres up there. I mean, you can walk for about 3 miles straight without going on any private land.
I was just kind of wondering, if we're thinking about really this how thing, if we really got to develop the social and cultural support to get the political support to make this happen, if we had more of a formal citizens group with the foundation maybe starting with the alliance group as meet with them a few times a year to discuss priorities or develop the priorities for that year, to really make it more of a formal thing than what we've had in the past. You just don't know where something like that could go sometimes, just because of their capacity that they have to get projects done.
I would say just about 90% of your sportsman's club in the county are willing to work with the general public and, say, the tourism, because, I mean, what Trempealeau County's noted for is hunting, fishing, biking, snowmobiling, outdoors activity.
I think you just kind of laid it out there, maybe adding like Trout Unlimited to that partnership team, the biking group to that partnership team, and really convene them to really have develop a strategic plan, get very strategic within this plan to engage those folks would be.
Well,
There's
like
some real power there.
Our Rod and Gun Club with these trout stream easements we are doing, it is in with cooperation with Trout Unlimited and
I know,
DNR.
yeah.
And I mean, they're ones that set the format for us to get, public easement and that on a 99-year lease.
I mean, it's just something to think about, Rod, how to bring that kind of concept into this plan.
I agree, and that's, again, I think, I look at that as a piece of the focus on local regional partnerships to enhance our outdoor recreation opportunities. And then within that, listing out some of those groups, which we've got those
I'm
narratives.
talking about creating an entity within the implementation of this plan to help direct the implementation, because right there comes a tremendous amount of cost share capacity for grants that county board might not be willing to put money towards X project, but the clubs together would probably be all over some of this stuff.
One of the things with the Conservation Club at Trempealeau County, they are a 501c3 funded organization, so there's a lot of cost sharing when you're 501c3. And that it's basically in cooperation with the state of Wisconsin and the federal government.
As soon as you start putting those public-private partnerships out there, your ranking scores go cha-ching, cha-ching most often, get higher.
So that's what I have for you.
So now, in November, we're going to have a draft plan to look at, because we need to vote and finalize it at the beginning of December, so it goes to the county board in December
Yep.
to get submitted.
Yep, and we're on track to, basically what, we've got a timeline that we've been following, and we're just knocking these things off, and we're really on the home stretch. It's putting these final narratives together that is, the last kind of major piece, but, we're deep into the process. The last week of October, Buzz and Jeannie, I'm going to try to elicit you to come to the office. We'll have Abby here. Mike can join us as well. We'll be going over basically our comprehensive draft of the plan. Then to have something that is pretty darn solid to present to the committee at the November meeting. But what also that does, it gives us time that if there's still some things we want to tweak after that November meeting, we want to have something that is, basically done, but it also gives us that breathing room to switch some things up if we think we need to. So I'll be giving you more details, Buzz and Jeannie, who's not here, about that particular meeting. But then, yeah, we will, we're on track to have I think an incredibly effective plan ready for final approval at the December county board meeting, which has always been kind of our plan for that, so.
Anything else on that topic? Then we can move on to number 9, your Trempealeau County Tourism website, social media analytics discussion.
Yeah,
which I think we heard some of that with our earlier.
You did. So basically, what I want to bring forth is, and we've talked about it. We're going to be making a much bigger emphasis, and a piece of this is just some good ideas that Mike has brought to the table as well about having analytical data about the tourism work we're doing in Trempealeau County. And so I am at the very beginning of trying to process some of this information. A piece of it will be looking at the Google Analytics again of our website, trying to find out where geographically folks are visiting our tourism webpage from, that sort of thing. I don't have a lot of data to share with you right now. I just, the IT gave me some information on Friday, but I really have to work with them to develop how we're going to share this. But I just basically want it to be on your radar that the plan is to monthly have some analytical data of how we're doing with people visiting our website, visiting our social media, and where are they coming from. Because the real goal that we want to have is to be reaching out to people. Yes, folks within Trempealeau County are important, but really our mission is to bring folks, I think, from out of Trempealeau County to discover our tourism assets. So just some real, again, this is incredibly preliminary stuff, but we looked at the July, August, and September traffic to the specifically the tourism piece of the Trempealeau County website. And out of all users, you can see in July we had about 2,100 users or people directed to the Trempealeau County website. August that went down to about 1,300, and just about 1,000 in September.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Can you put that over here?
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it not being shared? My apologies.
It is not.
I thought it was up there. Let's see if I can do that.
Because I just see big.
Well, my apologies. Yes, nope, yep, I thought, oh, that's not right. Derek, you still out there? I am sorry, I thought that would come up. Anyone better at sharing on these Zoom meetings than me? Probably not. Oh. I am not sure. Sorry, I don't want to eat up your time here. Hey, Derek. Hi, friend. Hey, I'm sorry. Can you show me how to share this onto the That's Is it on your screen now?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you, Derek. Okay, so again, we looked, this is, again, just very basic, but we looked at the number of users on the page, you know, in July, August, and September. And again, we had about 2,100 in July, you know, about 1,300 in August, and maybe about 1,100 in September. Oh, sorry, we're looking at our analytics for the web page. Yes. This again, there is a lot of data. I've got to really dig into what some of these specific categories mean. But what I'm trying to show here is we've got the data. Working with IT, we can better illustrate how our work is effectively driving people to our website and to our social media. So, and then going on, just some statistics currently right now of our Facebook page. We have about 1,600 likes right now. It breaks it down demographically. Interestingly enough, you know, 67% of the people that follow our Facebook page are women, 32% are men, which is interesting to know because, again, it can speak to where we need to improve, but also if we're putting out content, you know, kind of how should we be focusing on that. Top cities, as you can see here, a lot of our followers, people that follow our page right now are from Trempealeau County. So again, we need to work on getting more folks from outside the county following our page. And then some of the analytics on reach of the page, I broke it up by July, August, and September. So reach, just from my understanding of it, is how many folks actually saw our content on the page. Now, it doesn't mean individual people. You know, the same person might have seen content at different times. But, you know, in July, and I should note that was in the midst of when we had a paid campaign going on, we had over 43,000 impressions on our Facebook page. But you see there's kind of a precipitous drop in August and in September. I think a piece of that can be attributed to the fact that we stopped having paid ads that were being directed to folks after that. But just to give you a taste of some of the things that we can try to look up and see. Something else I found just very interesting but not surprising. I just went through and I pulled, how many are on here? Our top 15 most popular ads for, I think it was the last, maybe 3 months is what it would have been. And what we see is our most popular social media is when we're doing live videos. And that's something I've made more of an emphasis on in the last few months to actually, you know, because that is something that this committee really emphasized, that you want me when I can to be at these events. And going Facebook Live at these things, those are by far our most popular social media posts. They get shared widely by both often chambers and the organization that we're covering, but then also just a lot of folks in the community share it as well. So again, a lot more data that we can tune from that over time. Something else that I'll add, and we'll work into when we're showing you data. So we're really blessed to have what we have of WTCO, and I'm not just saying that because they're broadcasting our meeting today, but you know, we are able to do a lot of work with them to make some really great videos. One example of that being, you know, the $10,000 Main Street Bounce Back grant. We did a video with them that you know, had over 800 different views from folks. Got a lot of traction. So this is some of the data that we don't host ourselves. It's on the social media or YouTube of WTCO. So again, there's just some of that. So anyway, again, the purpose of that is just to show you, you know, that we have the ability to get this information. Frankly, it hasn't been something we've done that has been done a lot in the past, and we're going to just work our tails off at getting better at it in the future so that we can both illustrate to you all as a committee and to the public and to the policymakers that the work we're doing is not just ephemeral, it's having a real effect on driving people to learn more about Trempealeau County. So that's what I got for you there.
Okay, then update on the broadband work group.
Yes. All right. Of course. That's not on your screen yet? Okay. Your screen sharing. Stop share. I want to new share it. 1 second here. Hey, Derek. Nice and slow. Okay, I got the stop share. I'm trying to do the new share here.
Go to your Zoom. Share screen.
Oh, geez. Oh, I thought I had that. And then it's that one.
Then you can start the presentation.
Right here? Beautiful. Okay. All right, so one big thing that we're looking at is putting a proposal together for a share of Trempealeau County's ARPA funds to go directly towards broadband expansion within Trempealeau County. So I've been working with Buck Webb of Tri-County Communications to show, how much bang for our buck could we get if we applied a certain amount of ARPA funds to broadband expansion. So just a real basic summary of the plan here. This plan looks at putting $3.625 million of Trempealeau County's ARPA funds towards broadband expansion, which would be about 215 miles of fiber optic being laid. We also put a plan together that would theorize if all $5.7 million of ARPA funds were applied to the project. It covers 4 townships where it's believed the best bang for the buck could be achieved. This is based on topography, location, population trends, and current broadband layout. So the plan includes the townships of Sumner, Preston, Trempealeau, and Caledonia. There'll be some maps I show you in a minute, so just so you have some reference. Any areas shown in red on the map are areas that Tri-County Communications already serve with fiber optic to home and have speeds up to 1 gig. The areas in orange are areas that Tri-County Communications serves with coax and currently support speeds up to 250 megabytes download and 20 megabytes upload. These are far above the FCC guidelines of 25 to 3. So basically where you see orange, TCC has a goal to make those areas red. And again, this plan was created in conjunction with Tri-County Communications Cooperative, and they would take the lead to apply for matching grants. So this proposal was put together with the assumption of both matching grants from the Public Service Commission, investment from Tri-County Communications, and the granting of Trempealeau County ARPA dollars towards the project. So basically, how it would break down, the grant that would be applied for would be for $10.75 million, or the whole project, would cost that. So with half the project being covered by grants from the Public Service Commission. And then TCC would put in $1.75 million. Trempealeau County would put 3.625 million in. And again, this would cover 215 miles, which would be about 1,000 homes in Trempealeau County. You think about what 1,000 homes means. That's not just one person sitting in their house. That's often families. That's often multiple people living together. So the numbers of people that actually could be affected by this could be pretty darn substantial. And just to kind of show the areas that in this theoretical plan, and again, all this can be adjusted. This is really just a first step to have a good proposal to give to the Executive Finance Committee, show value, and say, hey, this is something you should seriously consider to do with these monies instead of maybe building a shed. So this is, we got here in the town of Sumner. So again, the red and yellow are areas TCC already covers with the hope, again, of everything being red, because that's the better area. So the area that would be focused on is within this unshaded area within the blue line. to help run lines past those houses. So that's how it would look for the town of Sumner. We've got the town of Preston here. Again, you can see the borders of where it would focus on. And then for this one is the town of Trempealeau and Caledonia. And I think there's a larger area there because obviously if you look at where the flattest part of the county is and where there is the best ability to lay kind of flat lines and it's a little less expensive is in those areas. So you'd see a large swath kind of north of Centerville, deep, into the town of Trempealeau and I believe into the town of Arcadia as well. And then south where you see, south kind of in this town of Caledonia area here, and then kind of near, I guess they call it West Prairie out there, if you know where I'm talking about, as you kind of start heading out to Winona. A large area, and consequentially also one of the fastest growing areas within Trempealeau County where we see a lot of development going on. So again, this is nothing you have to vote on or approve, but it is a plan that I think we will refine. We'll have different options, but we want to be very proactive on having something to give the Exec Finance Committee for them to see and for them to give strong consideration for applying those ARPA funds. I think you ask folks, what is the biggest thing that throws cold water on economic development sometimes in Trempealeau County? It is access to good internet. Entrepreneurs need it, families need it. Think of how many people you know that would love to move back to Trempealeau County, maybe your kids or grandkids or cousins or whomever, that would love to come back to Trempealeau County, but they just can't do it. They can work from home now, but they can't get internet at a place here. We've got great quality of life. We've got a lot of things going for us. If we can really focus on this broadband issue, be incredible for the economic lives and the quality of life for folks in the county. So again, an initial plan that will be refined.
Do all municipalities in the county
Pause
have
here.
broadband? Oh.
Do all municipalities in the county have broadband at this time?
From what I understand, all do to some capacity.
So all of our
It's small.
schools have it?
So a lot of schools give out hotspots.
Okay.
If you don't have it, you can get a hotspot, so then you can have it within your house. But I know anyone that's had kids or know of families that have had kids in school, those can be kind of flaky too sometimes. So but it's a big issue for school children too. So, and like I say, I think we can also show how much impact this would have. It's not 1,000 houses isn't just 1,000 people. It's many thousands of people out of a county of 30,000. So that's what I have to share with you. Again, we're going to keep refining it, and we're going to be aggressive about encouraging the Exec Finance Committee to apply funds to this, and I'll be calling on you guys for your political support on it as well, because I know it's a priority that this committee has talked about for a long time. So anyway, that's what I got for you.
Then I think Rita's up to talk about the Petric Park land acquisition resolution.
Yes, I was working with Rick recently, just on some of the content. We had a couple of meetings with the Shanks that own the land bordering Petric Park, and we came up with a few parameters and kind of, I wouldn't call them contingencies, but things they would like to see. And Rick wrote up a resolution, and then I reviewed it. Mike took a look at it, and everything seemed to check out. So I handed that to you, Beth, before the meeting here. Is that kind of how it goes? The chair usually reads the resolutions, and then the committee votes on them,
Or the secretary or somebody
Okay.
reads it, yep.
Okay, so we can just proceed like that.
So this is for the acquisition of land for the expansion of Petric Park. Whereas in 1971, Petric Park was created from land that was donated to Trempealeau County in memory of Joe Petric Jr. for the purpose of 4-H and youth education. And whereas over the years, Petric Park has expanded to include tent and RV camping, shelter facilities, nature, hiking trails, an observation deck, access to the Trempealeau River, a swimming beach, horse arena, disc golf course, and access to many beautiful scenic views. And whereas Trempealeau County has been presented with an opportunity to expand the size of Petric Park through the donation of an additional approximately 6.2 acres adjacent to the existing park, and whereas the donation would be contingent upon the county beginning development on the new parcel within 3 years of the transfer of the property to Trempealeau County, And whereas upon acquisition of this property, the Parks Department staff would begin putting together proposals for the development of this property for the county's consideration and approval. And whereas if development does not begin within this time frame, the property would be quitclaimed back to the current owners with clear title. And whereas the current owners, Thomas and Daniel Schenk, would continue to farm the property until the development of the property begins. And whereas once development is set to begin, the county shall be responsible for moving the existing fence to the new southern property boundary and extend from the railroad to the Trempealeau River. Now be it resolved that the Trempealeau County Board of Supervisors hereby accepts the donation of the property referenced above under the conditions stated, subject to the additional contingency that the county will obtain a survey establishing the boundaries of the new parcel, along with the confirmation of clear title of the new parcel prior to the legal transfer of the property. And now be it further resolved that the Parks Department staff is directed to prepare and present proposals to the county for the development of this property and for the whole of Petric Park. And it will be introduced by our committee, and then it has to be acted on by the property committee before it goes to full county board.
Did you have a price that, is there?
It's gonna be a donation.
It's a donation.
And actually, because there's no money transfer from, now, if I remember from what Rick was saying, it just needs to go to the property committee, should not need to go to full county board.
Oh, it doesn't?
Because there's no transfer of money or anything.
Okay.
At least that's my understanding at this point.
So
I'll
we.
make a motion to accept this donation from the Shank family.
Okay.
I'll second.
Oh, it's a tie for second. Who's, okay. So we've got a motion by Petric and a second by Feltus to approve the resolution for the acquisition of land for expansion of Petric Park. Further discussion?
Beth, this is Jean.
Yes, ma'am.
Can we get that emailed to us so I can put it in my notes for next month?
The resolution you're asking for?
Yes.
Sure. Rob can, or.
I can certainly send out an email. Yep.
Perfect. Just for my notes.
Sure. No problem at all, Gene.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So since this doesn't, any other discussion?
So what budget does the money come out of for the surveys and some of the other items?
Could you come to a microphone, either up here or somewhere?
Where does the money come from for the surveys or other things that are needed to get this acquisition? Does it come out of the parks budget or the county's?
I think it would come out of the parks budget because we are negotiating or doing the expansion.
That is correct, and I've worked with Joe Nelson, our county surveyor, and he's given me some direction on how to accomplish that and people to contact and rough price estimates on what it's going to cost. It's nothing too significant, and I was anticipating it coming out of the parks budget as well. I guess I just assumed that's where it would be coming from, so we have funds in there for it.
What would be the rough estimate? Or has he told you yet?
Depending on various, depending on various different companies, anywhere 500 to 1,500.
You're talking for the survey.
That's correct.
Reed, has there been any discussion of the Shanks' interest and how they want to see that incorporated into the part, what they want it to actually be developed as?
You know, they didn't give much for details on what they would like to see. Obviously, we have some ideas that we're going to propose to the committee. When I say we, I mean park staff. But they didn't really lay out any specifics on what they would like to see out there. They certainly would like to be kept informed of what we're thinking, you know, ahead of time throughout the whole thing. So I'll be sure to do that. But yeah, it's pretty much up to us at this point to kind of proceed with how we want to develop the new property. So I'll be bringing those ideas and proposals to the committee, obviously assuming it successfully goes through the property committee.
When would that go to the property committee after we vote, I assume?
I spoke with Chuck Wallach, and it's on Thursday's property committee it's on the agenda now, and that's at 2:30 this week.
So at our next meeting, we could be,
I'm fully planning on bringing ideas and proposals to the November meeting for sure. But we'll see what happens later on this week, so.
Is there support in the property committee to accept this?
There appears to be, but I know there was some discussion on it last time when just the idea was brought up of, reasons to really, take a closer look at what it might entail and that kind of thing, what, if there's going to be burdens on the county or anything like that. So hopefully those discussions are had again, and I guess we'll see if they decide to approve it or not, so.
and I think property wanted to kind of see a plan on, what we're going to do, and Reed's been working on that. They, discussion at the last property meeting was too that they don't want to have a bunch of, you have to do this, 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 and this. Contingencies in order for it to be donated.
And that's good that there's very few contingencies in this resolution to accept the donation of the property, so. It appears that it should be, at least those concerns shouldn't be too much of an issue, I wouldn't think, at the meeting.
And property meeting is when?
It's Thursday at 2:30.
Thursday, 2:30. Okay, thank you. Since this doesn't involve any money, I don't think we need to do a roll call vote. A voice vote should suffice. All those in favor of passing the acquisition of land for expansion of Petric Park resolution, say aye. 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 All those opposed?
Aye.
Okay. We have one no, the rest are yes. So the resolution is passed. I will sign it and send it around because we all need to sign it. Then Trempealeau County Snowmobile Maintenance Agreement. This is kind of a yearly thing.
Sorry, turn my mic on here. It's just an annual agreement that's between the PTED Committee and the Associated Snowmobile Clubs of Trempealeau County. It's basically saying that we have control of the grant. Am I correct on that, Becky? That's more or less the gist of the agreement. And it just needs to be signed by the committee members, and then the president and the treasurer of the snowmobile clubs will need to sign it as well.
Any changes from the last year's agreement?
No changes.
Move we sign it.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Schreiner and a second by, Feltus, to sign the Trempealeau County Snowmobile Trail Maintenance Agreement. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Then we've got the Petric Park Fall Campaign Special. Discussion, possible action.
Yeah, so we have a few people staying at the park right now, and that have called me asking if we're going to do the fall special again like we did last year. And that would, if I remember, actually, I know it was a $400, one-time payment, and then they could keep their, camper or tents or whatever they want to in a certain campsite, and that would be good for all of October and all of November. We have a fair amount of people that like to come to the park during hunting season, and they would just as soon not haul their RV or equipment back and forth every time. Also, excuse me, last year there was a gift certificate or a couple nights free stay that we offered if somebody did take this special. And actually somebody called me, they're gonna be using that later this month, from last year. So, I was just hoping to get approval from the committee to maybe reinstate that again this year. And then I can, go back to those campers that are asking about it and tell them yay or nay on it, so.
I'll make a motion to have a fall camping special on it.
Put your mic on. Put your mic on.
I'll make a motion to accept the fall camping special at the park.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion by Petric, second by Feltus to continue the second year of the fall camping special. Any other further discussion?
And that was for 400, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
400 plus, what did you say, 2?
2 nights of staying.
Extra stay, which would not be during Ashley for the Arts or a
That's-
holiday,
That is correct, yes.
because that's what we did last year.
Right.
Any other questions, discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion is passed. Then Jean, you're up for the Wisconsin Great River Road update.
Okay, we just finished our AAR, or All-American Road celebration. Ours was July 28th at the Trempealeau Hotel. I want to thank Chair Supervisor John Austin, Jeannie Nutter, and Rob for coming down to represent Trempealeau County. We also had representatives from the village of Trempealeau and the town of Trempealeau. One of the things that we were able to do from the designation of the AAR was part of the National Scenic Byway Foundation. There was a $2,000 grant that we could apply for. It came through the foundation and Toyota. We wrote the grant for $2,000. We got the grant, and we worked through the Adopt a Highway program. Next year, our goal is to, September is Drive the Great River Road Month. Our goal is to do September and to incorporate all of the counties. When I was doing background on this, there was a lot of, I guess there wasn't updates through with the Department of Transportation and this program. A lot of people weren't able to do the program anymore because of health, or people left, or whatever it is, but it was a good program. We got the kids out there, so we will again write for a grant if they haven't next year. If not, we will still do the Adopt a Highway, which I think is a great program, and we can work with all the counties and the youth. We're working on our website, and we're also starting to work on our 2022 Wisconsin Great River Road Visitor Guide, which the PTED puts money in for a quarter page. We are going to print 48,000 visitor guides, and they go primarily from the east side of the state all the way up north, which is Highway 43. We pay for it to go to 2 of the rest areas. They go to the Wisconsin Dells Vector and Ink, which gets shipped out. They are asked for through Explore La Crosse. They are the ones that mail them out for us, which come in either social media and or our website. The Mississippi River Trail, which is called MRT, is an established bike route, which is for most of the part all the communities. We are working to get that for the state of Wisconsin. I was just on a meeting yesterday. There is no cost. It's a program that works with the Department of Transportation. I would suggest that you would go to the website if you want more information on it. It gives a lot of information, so you can have, if you have questions down the line, you'd be able to pick up some more information. Just that came out this morning, the Transportation Alternatives Program, which is also called TAP, is through the Wisconsin Department of Transportation. It's a 20% match. And what that does is works with, and I'm sorry, my voice is just shot from our long conversation yesterday. What it does is it's a course along the Wisconsin Great River Road. It works for just like what we're dealing with the outdoor rec program for enjoyment, for health, conservation, tourism, development of river counties, river states, and the nation. So that's a good thing. We're hoping that Wisconsin Governor's Conference on Tourism will take place in Madison March 13th, but that will, we'll have to wait to see what they're going to do with COVID. So, you know, everybody is watching it now because of things are picking up again. If we get more information, I'll be able to provide that to you. I suggest that you look for the Flyway Trail information. If you remember, we went to the town of Buffalo and spoke with them. They are working to get more money to keep working on that, and that would be the last 2 miles from the town of Buffalo to the beginning of the U.S. Fish and National Wildlife Area, which is by Marshland. Julie Fox, who is our regional tourism specialist, continues to send information about outdoor rec. Mary Monroe Brown is, and Rob had talked about this again when it comes to the outdoor rec, for information. TravelWisconsin.com talks a lot about that. So that's a good thing that we are continuing to partner with the Department of Tourism. It was nice to see in the Wisconsin DNR magazine that there was an article written about the Buffalo Trail. Even though it was just a little paragraph, it was nice to see our information in the trail. And the last thing that I have is there has been more discussion about rock climbing in Buffalo County. Buffalo County, some of the board is not real thrilled about it. Of course, they have to continue to get more information, but there's a rock climbing club out of Winona that has been looking at partnering with Buffalo County and things like that, and possibly working with Trempealeau. So that'll be interesting if that happens. And I think that's all that I have.
Any questions for Jean? Thanks for the update.
You bet.
Then we've got Rob's and Reed's coordinator updates.
Well, the biggest thing that I want to add is, and I talked about it in multiple meetings, but that the downtown Main Street bounce back grant, you know, I've talked a lot about that. We've had a lot of interest in Trempealeau County. I've been putting, you know, writing a lot of letters, acknowledgement letters for that program, but also just getting a lot of inquiries about it. So having talked to the Mississippi River Regional Planning Commission, because again, they're administering it for our RPC area, the 7-county area, they've given out about 60 of the 100 grants they have to provide. So they're about halfway through it already, and they suspect that it'll be exhausted by November. But there are still grants available, and we still want to be aggressive about helping folks get them if they qualify. And again, just to remind you, you had to have purchased or moved into a downtown building starting January 1st of 2021, and it goes all the way to June 30th of 2022. But you know, frankly, the funding for the program probably won't last that long. There is some talk there may be a second round of more funding put in, but we will see. So any help you can give me to continue to put the word out there, especially, we have a very geographically diverse committee here around the county. So if you know of folks off the top of your head that, hey, they have done that within the last year, they have moved into a building, or they purchased a building, they've moved a business into it, send them my way. Let's help them get that funding and help, and enhance their business. Because once they get the grant, it can be used for various, basically any legitimate business expense. So really push that if you can.
Does that work for if you bought a business in an old building?
Yep. So if the building was vacant, so if you bought an existing business that was already there, I don't believe you would qualify. If you bought a building and moved if you were at a home business, let's say, and we've had a lot of that actually, where someone had an in-home business and they signed a lease for a downtown area, then you would apply. Or if you bought the building and moved your business there. Or you can already have a spot, but you need more space. That's a qualified move as well. So.
Okay, just a few updates. What's been going on at the park? The park staff, that's the maintenance staff that's out there, they've been working on putting the ramps on the boardwalks that are down in the trail system. So I believe now we can get everywhere we need to with the pull behind mower, due to those ramps being put in, they've been working hard on those, which is really nice. The security system is on hold because of the supply chain issues of getting parts and getting things in. And that extends to the electrical installation down on the Trempealeau lots. They're still waiting on meters that were supposed to be here in June. And then I've been calling every few weeks, and then they keep saying it's another month. So I'm getting a little bit concerned about that, because we have people that are very interested in those lots for next year, and they're anticipating there being power there. Obviously, we're getting to the point where we're kind of limited on time this year. Hopefully, maybe we can still get them in prior to freeze up, but otherwise it might have to be an early spring thing, but who knows about the flooding and all that might happen down there. So there again, it's a supply chain issue with getting those meters. And then as far as back to the park again, it's kind of winding down. Grass isn't growing as fast. I'm just doing some more, end of the year cleanup maintenance type things. Typically middle of October, end of October, I shut the water off to the campsites, but that's kind of weather dependent. I've been in touch with the plumbing company that what we usually go through, telling them if they can be on standby if I see it's going to get cold in the forecast, but it's looking like it's going to stay relatively warm for the time of year. So usually we shut the water off to the campsites first, but then try to leave the shower facility going for longer so people can use those showers, the hunters that are there later on. And there's a heating system in there that keeps it around 50 degrees, so just keeps everything from freezing up. Yeah, I know. 50-degree showers. Well, they still got hot water, but at least the pipes aren't bursting. So that's kind of where the park's at right now. It's awesome time of year to be out there working. It's nice weather, so pretty out there right now with the leaves changing and everything. And that's kind of the update that I have at this time. Anybody have any questions about anything parks wise? Yes, Bob.
I was pretty impressed there this weekend.
Microphone.
I was pretty impressed out there this weekend to see 10 campers out there.
Yeah, big weekend.
And 3 of them were from Minnesota and 1 was from Iowa.
Really?
Yes.
Cool.
And then
Very
I think
cool.
there was one that had come in through the middle of the night because he was parked over with one of these conversion vans, like he pulled off the road.
Yep.
And he was parked like where the outside bathrooms are. I mean, I was impressed to see, on a Saturday morning at 6:30 that there's 10 people out there camping.
In the first week of October.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. And I actually spoke with that conversion van person multiple times, and they just used the park. They were from Eau Claire, and they were just coming down for a football game in Arcadia, and they just didn't feel like driving all the way back. So the park's it's in a good location for something like that, but it's like, people use it because it's there, and there's always typically sites available, especially for a situation like that where they just pull in and kind of go wherever they want. And so it's been good.
And then the other thing is, are we looking at keeping it open for the winter? Because I'll clean the parking lot out like I did the last couple of years.
I was thinking, actually Rob and I were discussing this, it was a while ago now. We were thinking maybe let's do like and you've suggested it, Bob, a winter activity, maybe a snowshoeing event through the trail system or something like that. And then hopefully in the future, if plans come to fruition, maybe a skating rink out there as well. So just things to think about. And yeah, if you'd be willing to keep it plowed.
Because I know even like the guys have got a couple brush piles started, even if
Okay.
we, pick like a full moon walk or something like
Right.
that, and they lit one of them brush piles on fire when there's a snow cover and kids can have a weenie roast or
Sure, you bet.
s'mores or something like that. I mean, just, you got to get rid of the brush, and you might as well do it when there's snow on the ground.
That's right. That's exactly it. So I'm definitely planning on having some sort of a winter activity out there. So if you'd be willing to keep it plowed, that would be wonderful.
That's no problem.
Well, thanks, Bob. Appreciate it.
We can just have like weekends, like
Sure,
we did before,
yeah.
and just
Mhm.
open the gate up and they can walk or ski or
You bet.
snowshoe
You bet.
and go from there.
For sure. Any other questions about the park? Good deal.
I put number 16, strategic planning and ARPA funding discussion, because at the Wisconsin Counties conference last weekend, or Monday, Tuesday, I went to that session, and two different people kind of put it on. And I talked a bit with Mike about this, and I mentioned it to Reed and Rob, that if you have a strategic plan, you're more likely to be able to use the ARPA funding without any hassle or questions. And Trempealeau County, I'm going to bring this up to the full county board or to the chair, our strategic plan for Trempealeau County went through 2020, and it was something that I was given when I was elected in 2016, and nothing's ever been done with it. And I think Buzz kind of referred to this before. We need to, we have our mission, and there's a pyramid thing, and I don't remember all the steps, but you have your, mission and your goal, and then you get into the details. How are you actually going to get to, each level, which is kind of our outdoor rec plan. So it's not something that happens in a few hours. It takes, many meetings and lots of time to do. But I want the committee to kind of think about this, how we need to take our my opinion, our outdoor recreation plan, and specifically do some, how do we get there, like Buzz was talking about. And then possibly we'd get some, if we get it done in time, some ARPA funding for our committee. Because I personally don't think that all that money's going to be going to the broadband, because I think there are too many people that are going to want that money. Good thought, though. That's all I had on that, just to let the committee know. Next meeting date. November 2nd. I know I cannot be here that day, but certainly Jeannie can take over. And I can either watch it after, because I have an appointment in Eau Claire that day. November 2nd.
Back to 8:30?
That should be fine, 8:30 with everyone?
We do, Beth, it's Jean, can we do 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock?
Can we do 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock?
Works for me.
November 2nd, 9 o'clock? Okay. And we've hit the end of the agenda. 11:05, I will adjourn the meeting. A long meeting today, but we went through a lot of stuff. Thank you all for coming.